brain surgeries at the age of just 17.
I've learned to live with it and learn to strive with it.
How a local girl is overcoming obstacles. Then, the race for the beach, why the Three Rivers Parks District raised and released turtles at French Park. But first, lawmakers finish work on storm assistance in just 4 hours. 12 News starts right now. Most of the damage has been cleaned up from a 1-2 punch delivered by a pair of storms in June.
But local budgets are still feeling the impact after hundreds of thousands of dollars was spent on recovery. So as Delane Cleveland reports, state lawmakers went back in session to help find the money for cleaning up.
The state capitol is typically an uneventful place in September, but when $4.5 million of disaster relief is at stake, that tends to change things.
There was a lot of storm damage, a lot of trees that were down, a lot of power lines and power out, of course, this summer.
DFL Representative Ryan Winkler of Golden Valley is referring to the storms in late June that pummeled the northwest suburbs. The costs sustained by local governments to repair the damage.
The school district of Wayzata, they have damages of around $300,000.
Are why the legislature gathered for this one-day special session.
I think Golden Valley probably could have waited until a regular session to get this done, but a number of other smaller communities couldn't, so that's why we're here.
Yet the fact that they're here just to talk about storm damage is a sore subject for lawmakers from both parties.
It does seem a bit silly for us to have to come for a special session for $4.5 million, which, at the state legislature is a relatively small appropriation.
For Republican Sarah Anderson of Plymouth,
I wish that this session was handling more things.
It's mainly because they're not taking the time to address other issues.
We are seeing significant problems with the tax bill that was passed this last legislative session, and unfortunately we couldn't get the Democrat leaders in the House and the Senate and the governor's office to agree to that.
Instead, lawmakers stuck to the task at hand and in just 4 hours approved the $4.5 million in disaster relief.
I'm glad that we are helping folks out and able to address some of these concerns, both for the county, the city, and then also school districts.
Meantime, Representative Ryan Winkler told me he signed on to a bill today that would establish a disaster assistance fund and gives the governor the authority to tap and distribute that money quickly. Now, Mike and Alex, the idea there would be so that the state legislature wouldn't have to go through the hassle and expense of another one of these special sessions, which is reported to cost about $30,000 to the taxpayers.
There might be a better way.
Yeah, we'll see.
Thanks, Delane. A local politician is still beaming about Saturday's commissioning of the USS Minnesota submarine in Norfolk, Virginia. Some are calling this sub a modern marvel, and the USS Minnesota is now officially part of the naval fleet. New Hope Senator Ann Rest was at the ceremony along with 3,000 other spectators. For Rest, it was a spectacular day in Norfolk.
It was an extraordinary day. I have been on ships here at the Navy Yard when I was a little girl, because Norfolk is my hometown, but to be a witness to such a historic occasion was just one of the finest experiences as a public official I think I've ever had.
The USS Minnesota is one of the most powerful subs ever. It has the capability to sail in the icy waters of the polar ice cap and the tropical seas of the South Pacific. The USS Minnesota has a crew of 134.
A survey of Brooklyn Park residents gives the city high marks for quality of life, but residents say there's more work to be done when it comes to housing and bringing in restaurants. The survey finds 89% believe the quality of life is good or excellent. When it comes to the most serious issues facing the city, crime is at the top with 32%, but that's lower than in previous years. And 22% say there are no serious issues in the community at all. As far as housing is concerned, the survey finds 55% believe there are too many apartments in Brooklyn Park, and 57% of local residents would like to see more restaurants. 400 Brooklyn Park households took part in the survey in the second half of June. Despite rising mortgage rates, new home construction is up in the Twin Cities metro.
Maple Grove, Plymouth, and Brooklyn Park are all home to new housing developments. And in this week's Business Matters, we found out why the Northwest Metro is one of the busiest building sites.
In the Northwest Metro, the story is building.
People certainly like the open feel, that this plan has to offer.
This 4,600 square foot Maple Grove home is featured in this month's Parade of Homes, and it's no coincidence that a high number of homes on the tour this year are located in the Northwest Metro.
We see a lot of activity in this Northwest area.
This year, new home construction in the Twin Cities Metro is up 24% over last year. Minneapolis leads the way, but Maple Grove comes in second with 460 new homes. And Plymouth comes in at number 6 with just under 200 new homes built this year. Cut to the bottom line, the Northwest Metro is a housing hotspot for more than one reason.
It has a great mix of retail and services, wonderful park system and trails, has great schools, and a really nice variety of housing lifestyle options.
There's also available land to develop in this area, like this new spot in Plymouth, home to the up-and-coming Terra Vista housing development.
Low interest rates coupled with low inventory levels on the existing market has really fueled what we're seeing happening in the new construction side of the business.
Golden Valley builder and developer Ganya Homes has 25 new units under construction right now in the Northwest Metro.
It's cautious optimism.
But with mortgage rates creeping up and a labor shortage due to workers leaving the industry during the recession, no one is ready to declare the housing market fully recovered. Still, builders see promise on this side of the metro.
Still in this particular region, I think that we're going to see those numbers continue at the same pace that we saw in 2013.
Close to 20% of all the homes on this year's Parade of Homes tour are located in Maple Grove, Plymouth, Brooklyn Park, and Rogers. The parade tour runs through September 29th.
2 police dogs in Plymouth are sporting some new outfits thanks to donations. Stryker, a German Shepherd, and Odie, a Belgian Malinois, both have new protective vests. Over a span of about 2 weeks, Groupon and a nonprofit organization called Vested Interest in Canines raised thousands of dollars in donations. The vests are valued at about $1,000 each, and they protect the dogs against gunshots and stab wounds. Vested Interest in Canines has donated more than 400 vests for police dogs nationwide. Those vests are good for about 5 years. Still ahead on 12 News, a remarkable story of how a young woman is determined to beat the odds.
And later in sports, it comes down to the wire as Osseo tries to knock off Minnetonka in prep football.
But first, your AccuWeather forecast. A student from Park Center High School is doing her best to defy the odds.
The 17-year-old Brooklyn Park girl has had dozens of brain surgeries, but she is determined not to let it keep her from graduating with her classmates. Reporter Sonia Goins has more on her quest to succeed.
I want you to make a list of things you need and things you want.
Olivia Malkow's bubbly personality lights up the classroom.
How many of you would like a new cell phone?
Even though she has a life-threatening brain disorder.
I was born premature at 29 weeks, and I was diagnosed with a condition called hydrocephalus. It is known primarily as water on the brain.
She's had 90-plus brain surgeries to fix a shunt in her head. That shunt helps to drain water from her brain.
I've actually had times where I've had a new shunt placed, and it's broken within an hour or so, and I had to go back in.
Please write that website down. You know, she's willing to share when she's struggling or when she's having some difficult times.
Olivia has some learning impairments from all the surgeries, and she has headaches almost every day.
I get tired a lot quicker.
Although Olivia faces a lot of challenges, she's not letting her disease stop her from doing well in school. She carries a full load, she gets A's and B's, and she's determined to graduate on time.
I'm gonna walk with my class because that's just something I've always been determined to do.
Needs are things such as food, clothing, and shelter that are necessary for survival. I'm sure she wants them to see that she can accomplish this, even though she missed that many days or has gone through the illness, and I think it's good for them to see that.
Team Liv is the team I created.
Olivia also wants to raise awareness about her condition.
My nickname is Liv, so everyone kind of knows me as that.
Olivia, her family, and friends are participating in an upcoming fundraising event.
I just want to help kind of eliminate struggles of hydrocephalus.
Olivia is facing her challenges, showing others you can overcome obstacles.
Hydrocephalus doesn't stop you from doing anything. Yes, it might push it off a little bit, but I've learned to live with it and learn to strive with it.
I can't say enough good things about her.
In Brooklyn Park,
I think it'll be a really good year.
Sonia Goins, 12 News.
Olivia and her crew have already raised more than $1,000 so far. The fundraising walk is set for September 15th at the North Community Park in Rogers. Coming up, from the incubator to the beach, a change of habitat for some turtles.
But first in sports, Cooper can't overcome a slow start against Benilde St. Margaret's on the football field. John Jacobson has that and more when we come back. We start with football, and Osseo ran into some pretty tough competition, but they held their own for a while.
Good matchups for week number 2.
It was. Osseo won on the road in the first week, and then they come back the second week. Really a tough opponent in the Lake Conference, and it's when going down to the wire. Osseo's football team scored a road win at Centennial in their season opener. The Orioles faced a tough Lake Conference squad in their home opener, facing off against the Minnetonka Skippers. Second half action in this one. Osseo capitalizes on a turnover. Prince Crowd taking the handoff, dashing through a big hole, and it's a touchdown. Osseo is up 21-10. Minnetonka comes back. Big fourth down play. Nick Rooney looks deep downfield for Mitch Felker. He is open for a touchdown, and the Skippers are within 4, 21-17. Fourth quarter, they go in front. Rooney, a play action fake, rolls out, finds big tight end Andrew Viger for 6. And the Skippers are up 24-21. Less than 2 minutes later, huge play for Osseo. Matt Medkey to Josh Goldschmidt for the touchdown. Osseo's in front 28-24 midway through the fourth. But Minnetonka completes a clutch drive. Rooney is pressured, but he finds Felkner, who hangs on here. And Minnetonka holds on. That's the winning touchdown. Osseo loses 31-28. Maple Grove moves to 2-0. They beat Hopkins 23-14. Running back Tahi Nomain is another great game with 296 yards rushing. At Champlin Park, the Rebels hosting Class 4A power DeLaSalle. First Islanders drive. The pass by Billy Hart goes off his receiver's hands, picked off by the Rebels. Detrice Mosimo, a nice grab, and his return leads to points. Well, they settle for 3. Dan Branger comes on and nails the field goal. And it's 3-0 Champlin Park, just over 4 minutes in. But DeLaSalle moves the ball well. Chris Williams weaving his way and powers through a tackler for a touchdown. The extra point is blocked. It's 6-3 Islanders. Shorter trip the next time for Williams. He extends DeLaSalle's lead to 13-3 with a short touchdown run. Looks like Champlin Park's going to get on the board. Max Beagott rolls left and finds Branger, who makes a nice catch, but then he fumbles right at the goal line. DeLaSalle recovers in the end zone. No points for the Rebels. Here's what defenses want to do when quarterback runs. Hart rolling out. Watch Jason Anderson come and level the hit on Hart. Beagott scrambles to his left, pulls up at the line of scrimmage, and finds Matt Juneau for a score here to make it 13-10. No more scoring after that, though. DeLaSalle drops Champlin Park to 0-2 with a 13-10 win. This is the final season for the North Suburban Conference. Cooper and Benilde St. Margaret's met in their conference opener on Friday. Both teams trying to start the season 2-0. Early second quarter of this one, Benilde's Keaton Studsrud goes downfield to Sam Lynch, who vaults himself into the end zone. It's a 34-yard touchdown and 15-0 Benilde. Late in the first half, the Red Knights cap off a 94-yard scoring drive. Studsrud to Jack Sims on a 15-yard pass. Benilde's on top 22-0. And they get the ball back again after a Cooper turnover, and the Red Knights will score one more time. Austin Robertson running it in from 8 yards out, 29-0 at the half. Cougar comes out strong in the second half, though. And a nice touchdown catch here by the Hawks. Jordan Marshall in the end zone, 22 yards on the pass from Luke Lindquist to get Cooper on the board. The Hawks fall short in the end. The Red Knights win it 43-16. Wayzata escaped with an overtime win over Rosemont in the opening week. The Trojans weren't as fortunate, though, Friday at Lakeview South. Second quarter, Brenton Larson Goldsvig avoids the Wayzata rush and floats a great pass to Luke Iverson. It's a 53-yard touchdown and a 10-0 Lakeview South lead. Wayzata turns the ball over on downs, and on its ensuing possession, Mark Rule makes it hurt on the punt return, ripping off a 65-yard return for his score. And the Cougars are up on the Trojans 17-0. Wayzata, though, strikes with just over a minute left in the first half. Andrew Redding to Nelson Moen, 44-yard throw and catch, and that cuts the deficit to 17-7. Fourth quarter, same score, an 83-yard drive, capped off by a Joey Copene's touchdown run to make it 17-14. But the Cougars will ice this game on Rule's 12-yard touchdown run. Lakeview South downs Wayzata 24-14 as the Trojans fall to 1-1 on the season. That's a look at sports.
Thanks, John. Still ahead, how our viewers came through for a local food bank.
We'll be right back.
You're gonna lose yourself, people, please, and let them see ya. I said, people, please,
Coming up on Tuesday's 12 News, a Brooklyn Park singer goes to London, Manchester, and Paris. Tamatha Lene is a rising star in the music industry who has toured globally. Lene has been nominated for a Soul Award in the United Kingdom, and that's part of what we'll have for you Tuesday beginning at 4. Well, you've helped us collect food for the needy all summer.
And today we were able to turn over 2 barrels full of groceries to the near food shelf in New Hope. Workers came to Channel 12 to pick up the goods early this morning. We've been collecting food at our studios here in Brooklyn Park, as well as at half a dozen parades from Golden Valley to Robbinsdale to Brooklyn Center and Osseo all summer long. We're told it's about 300 pounds of food in all, and it means a lot. We want to thank you so much for your generosity. They're known for living near rivers, but some turtles made a run for Medicine Lake today.
They are spiny, soft-shell turtles, and Three Rivers Parks officials released several on the beach to join about 3 dozen others along Medicine Lake. Officials say populations in larger lakes are decreasing because of housing and swimming beaches, so Three Rivers extended the beach to give turtles their own space. And they start out small, but there's plenty of room to grow.
The females can get to be up to 18 to 20 inches in diameter, so basically the size of a garbage can lid. So they will get quite big. The males tend to stay more dinner plate size. They don't get as big as the females. These turtles can live to be over 50 years old if they make it to the stage of being an adult.
The idea is to give them a safe place to nest and get them into the water before seagulls and other predators see them. And these guys were actually raised in an incubator, so they spent some time just getting used to the sand. They're not moving real fast.
Give them their space, right?
That'll do it. That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
We'll see you here tomorrow. Thanks a lot for joining us.